this thing. So this weekend in New Brunswick, Minto to be exact, is a mountain bike marathon. Race. 60 kilometers. I don't know anything else about it other than that. I actually had zero plans of doing it whatsoever. However, my rubber arm was twisted and I was immediately convinced that it was something I needed to go do. I need that kick in the ass to get all of this stuff that I've had for far too long. Nick, I apologize for taking so long. This stuff on this, along with fixing the other things that are wrong with it. Funny story with this fork that I've shown you guys before already. This came to be from one of the subscribers on here, actually Nick, who obviously watches the channel and knows this bike well, knowing that it doesn't exactly have anywhere near a great fork, was upgrading the situation he was in, had gotten this for a really good deal, and couldn't help but feel like that, the Felt 9.6, would be a fantastic candidate for this fork. So he offered it to me for a price that you know, it's hard to beat. I'm super glad that you thought of me instead of you know, trying to make all the money that you could. So again, one of the nicer pieces of equipment I'll ever own, purely from the help of the cycling and YouTube community. The main difference here is that the fork on this bike and this one, well, they've got a few differences, obviously, this being unbelievably nicer. This actually uses a reducer for a straight tube. This does not. It uses a 9mm quick release axle. This is Boost 110 by 15. All I needed to have was a headset, and the other stuff to do the conversion of this wheel to a Boost fork are here. So with this VeloSolo conversion kit and, you know, just your standard integrated headset, this is going to be ready fairly quickly. Now, if you remember back when I was putting a set of Velocity blunts, just like these, on the Poseidon, and I needed to put some tape on it, I talked about throwing the clear tape on because everyone says it's stronger and lighter, but it only comes in the larger width. That's why I cut it down. On this wheel set, Martin here, I am like marginally concerned about weight, more so than what the Poseidon was, because I am racing this bike. The only time, in my opinion, and I know a lot of others, that you really need to worry about weight is when racing. This bike, doing just that. So I am going to give this the valid effort that it needs to try and make it work. I don't anticipate it not working. It cut very nicely. So yeah, just one of those like cheap, easy ways to get around having to use something like stands. I can get numerous wheel sets out of this for a lot less money than what a set of than what stands wheel tape is worth. You know when you're working on a project and everything starts to kind of go really right, so you just go to the next step and then go to the next step and everything kind of all falls into place and you forget to shoot all of those fun different steps of the assembly of the bike you were making a video about? Yeah. it's done. It's been a while since I've been excited about this bike because it's just been lately such a hot piece of garbage. Just the fork that was on it was so worn out, clicking, making all sorts of weird noises, all sorts of brake shudder. It just did not perform the way it was supposed to anymore. The half ghetto tubeless setup that I had going on with the electrical tape, while it did work, I had let someone ride the bike. We put way too much tire pressure in it and it just blew through the electrical tape, and I just, for some reason, didn't have the motivation for where this bike was to even bother trying to fix it, and I just kind of let it sit to the side. So it was good this weekend to have the motivation to A, get that fork on, and B, get everything else up to snuff to match it. So new tires, 2.25s, which just look way better than the 2.1s that were on. The new fork, putting some new tubeless tape on, just overall creating a bike that's easily grab it from the shed, go ride it, ready to go. This fork is 120 mil. This bike is supposed to have a 100 mil travel fork on it, so it will sort of change the steering geometry a little bit. It'll slacken things out, but this bike had like a 71-degree head tube angle anyway and a wildly low bottom bracket, so the extra 20 mils is actually going to make it feel a little more modern, a little more like what most cross-country bikes these days feel like. And the added benefit of having a little bit more travel, well, that just makes the bike a little bit more playful. Not to forget, the weight difference is actually insane. This is laughably lighter than what was on there before. It's very noticeable. This thing's never picked up so easily. It almost makes me feel bad that that heavy low-end cassette is on there. So now that I'm mechanically fit to take care of something like that, I gotta go make sure that I've got the nutrition, and can't really do much about fitness now. Anyway, the mountain bike is ready.